Alright guys, my name is Donnie Blue. I'm a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu purple belt under Rodrigo and Daniel Pinheiro in San Antonio, Texas. Today we're going to be focused on a guard system that can be used both for mixed martial arts and no-gi submission grappling. It's a guard system that I've been developing for a while now, spending a lot of time on. It controls my opponent's posture, which I think is super important. I needed to come up with a name for it, so by no means am I egotistical and think that this guard hasn't been out there somewhere else before, but I needed a name so that my students knew what I was talking about, so I've called it the BlueGuard. So when I'm in the BlueGuard, when we're talking about MMA, I don't want my opponent to be able to punch me in the face. If he's throwing punches at me, I don't want to stay here. This is bad for me. So I need to control his posture by taking away this distance. So as he's throwing strikes at me, I'm going to pull my knees to my face and control his posture. Again, he's throwing strikes, I pull my knees to my face to control his posture. Once I get down here, all I'm going to do is pull his head to the side and come to here. Most important thing, I'm reaching around his head and his arm is trapped in my body. I'm grabbing my leg on the outside and I'm pulling everything in tight. My elbow is down. Elbow down, squeeze my knees together, in and towards my face, nice and tight. Ruben, try to escape there. He's stuck. Now, it's super important that I control this arm on this side. So, I'm controlling this arm here. So now, there's not very many options for Ruben to punch me. Ruben, punch me. I can control here, and he can't punch me with this hand over here because I'm here. For some of you guys, are going to be like, well, Blue, my arms aren't long enough to reach around. That's fine. You don't need to reach all the way around your leg. For you short arm guys, you're just going to reach inside here, grab this tendon right here on the inside of your leg, here, elbow down, squeeze your knees. If that's too hard, just reach up, grab your shin, elbow down, squeeze your knees. Here. Okay guys, so most important when we're talking about MMA, I need to control this posture. Remember, I'm reaching around the leg, I'm grabbing the outside of my leg, elbow down, which is my elbows down across his head, squeezing my knees together, and squeezing my knees to my face. I want to control this arm. It's super important that I don't let it get over here. Okay, we have some submission options from here, but I'm not going to cover those right now. I want to keep it here. So I'm controlling his arm so he can't throw any strikes. The very first submission attempt we're going to go for, I'm going to slide down and grab his wrist. Now, all I'm going to do is take this wrist and place it between my legs. As I place it between my legs, I'm going to throw up my triangle attempt. So I'm here to here. Immediately I control the posture, grab my shin, squeeze my knees together nice and tight. Good. I'm here. I'm going to reach underneath, cut the angle, push off my foot, off his thigh, lock up my triangle, grab my shin, angles create strangles. I squeeze everything together, pull down on the head, catch the tap. So again, we're here, I'm in BlueGuard, I've reached around, I've controlled the opposite thigh, my elbows down, I'm squeezing my knees together, I'm controlling this arm, I slide down from his tricep to his wrist. First thing is just wrist control triangle. So I have a wrist control, all I'm going to do is place it between my legs and throw my triangle up. So I'm here, I'm pushing it between my legs, here to here. Boom. Immediately I control posture because he's going to try to posture up. If I don't control posture, he's going to posture up, which is bad. So I control posture by grabbing my shin. Pull my shin down, squeeze my knees together. I reach this hand underneath the body for an underhook, and I push off the opposite hip with my foot, lock up my triangle. Angles create strangles. Pull everything in nice and tight, squeeze my knees together, pull down on the head, and I catch the tap. Alright guys, so now Moving on, our next technique is just going to be again, we're here, we've got BlueGuard, our hand is across, it's either grabbing the outside of my thigh, grabbing the inside of my thigh, or grabbing your shin, and just focus on that elbow down across the back of his head here, squeezing the knees together, and squeezing your knees in. I have really long limbs, so I always go on the outside of my body, controlling the arm so he can't throw any punches. I'm going to slide down, get this wrist control. Now all I'm going to do, I'm going to go from wrist control here, I'm going to reach over the arm and grab Kimura. I'm going to get a thumbless grip with this Kimura. Now, a lot of people finish the Kimura with a hip heist. I'm going to show that option too, but this Kimura, I just call it stretch Kimura. All I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch my legs away and pull his arm this way, and he's already tapping right now. And I haven't even started to motorcycle my wrist and finish the technique. So again, I'm here, I've got wrist control, I've got BlueGuard, I let go of my leg, and I reach immediately for the Kimura, thumbless grip. I call this the stretch Kimura. So I'm going to stretch my legs back as far as I go and pull his arm up. And he's already tapping. So, I'm here. I've got BlueGuard. I go from wrist control to Kimura grip, thumbless. I push my legs away, pull up on his arm. He's already tapping. If he's really super flexible, then I just motorcycle my wrist. This wrist goes this way, this wrist goes this way, and then I elevate his hand. Good. Next finish with the Kimura. Same grip. I go here, I've got BlueGuard. I get wrist control. Now I'm going to reach across, grab this Kimura grip, thumbless. I'm just going to do the traditional hip heist Kimura finish. So I'm going to skate my hips to the outside, keep his tricep pinned to my chest, elevate his wrist to the ceiling. One more time. I'm here. I've got BlueGuard. I've reached across. Remember, I'm squeezing my knees together, in and down towards my face. My elbows down, controlling his posture. I've got wrist control. I transition from wrist control to Kimura grip. I go to finish with the traditional hip heist Kimura. Here and here. Alright guys, so I'm back in BlueGuard again. My arm is over the back of his body. Okay, I'm grabbing the outside of my leg. Here, if you're short armed, you can grab the inside of your leg. Here, or you can grab your shin. The key components though, squeeze your knees together, pull them to your face, focus on keeping your elbow down, nice and tight. I've got wrist control. I'm going to transition from wrist control to this Kimura grip. And then I'm going to go with that hip escape Kimura. Traditional hip escape, I escape my hips, keep this tricep pinned to my chest, nice and tight. All I'm going to do is elevate his wrist to the ceiling. Good. So one more time. I'm here. I transition from wrist control to Kimura, thumbless grip, hip escape, pin the tricep, throttle the motorcycle with both hands. So I'm going to throttle my wrist this way, throttle this wrist this way, here, keep it pinned, finish the Kimura. So next submission, I'm here. I reach over for Kimura. Now he's starting to move his hand, so I grab right in here. I go from here to here, and I pull his wrist to me, here. Now, remember guys, I've got to focus on keeping my knee squeezed and squeeze my knees to my face. So right now I've got what I call a chicken wing. Once I've got this chicken wing, what Ruben's going to do is posture up. Okay, so as he postures, I'm going to throw this to here. Everything else stays the same. Angles create triangles. Lock the triangle up, squeeze, get the finish. So, again, I'm here, nice and tight, wrist control. I transition from wrist control to this Kimura grip. As he brings his hand in to defend, I see he's going to grab the inside of his thigh, so I make the transition before he can, and I grab his forearm, and I pull it in nice and tight to here. Now, I'm squeezing my knees to my face, squeezing my knees in. Let's go back. All right, so now I'm here, I'm pulling everything in tight. Ruben's gonna feel this, and he's gonna feel like he's got some space, so he's gonna go to posture. As he postures, I throw my leg up, control his posture by grabbing my shin. Everything else stays the same. I underhook the leg, push off the hip with my foot, cut the angle. Angles create strangles. I can reach up, I'm long limbs, so I can reach up, grab the shin, ride my leg down my arm, squeeze, pull down the head to get the finish. All right. So the next submission attempt is one that I catch a lot of guys with. It's a little unorthodox. A lot of people, when I was in Brazil at Constrictor Jiu-Jitsu, they were talking about listen to your opponent's breathing to get the choke tight. And so when I was in this position, I realized I could reach over and grab my leg and I could catch a choke from there. So I pay attention to my opponent's breathing. So I'm in BlueGuard. I'm here in BlueGuard. I've got the outside of my leg. I'm controlling this arm so I can't be hit. Okay? I'm here. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this hand and I'm going to make sure I go above it and I'm going to grab my leg here with an S grip. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to lean my body over his neck. So I'm going to go this way, like this. Now I'm going to squeeze everything in tight. I'm going to squeeze my knee to my nose, and I'm listening to his breathing. Every time he breathes out, I squeeze harder to catch the tap. So again, I'm in BlueGuard. All right. I transition from here to here. Now all I'm going to do to get the tap is I'm going to lean my weight over his neck this way. So from here to here, I'm going to squeeze everything in nice and tight. So I'm squeezing my arms in with this S grip, like this, and I'm pulling my knee to my nose to catch the tap. Now, look what I'm attacking, a head and an arm. Triangle. BlueGuard. Angles create strangles. So I've got this triangle here. I listen to him breathe. He takes a breath. He breathes out. I squeeze. Now, some common things that happen when I go for this technique. One is Ruben starts to stack me up. So he stacks me this way. When that happens, I can go right back to BlueGuard. So I just went from what I call, this technique, I call it the blue crush. Okay, so I'm at blue crush, I'm trying to get the finish. He goes to stack me, so I go right back to BlueGuard, and I can go right back into my attacks. Or, I'm here, I'm going for the blue crush, he goes to stack me, so I take this foot, I circle it in to here. I take this foot, I circle it in. Now I'm going to push away, transition through, grab, think tricep, not bicep, so I'm not going to grab my bicep, I'm going to grab my tricep. I'm going to listen to his heartbeat, that's going to drop my hand farther underneath. I'm going to look towards his feet, set on my hip, squeeze. So again, this submission sequence, okay? I'm going for blue crush. He goes to stack me. I swing my foot out, get this butterfly hook. I let go of blue crush, I get an overhook. I swing this foot underneath. Now I've got army and guillotine grip. I escape my hips out. Now I can go to finish the army and guillotine, or I can finish with my favorite choke. So I go to sweep this way, and I shoot back through immediately. I listen to the heartbeat. I grab, I think tricep, not bicep, so I don't want to grab here. We know, especially with MMA gloves on, sometimes in competition we're barely getting our fingers here. That's because people are just trying to grab their bicep. I want to physically try to listen to the heartbeat, take my ear, place it right on their side, not on their shoulder. I can't hear the heartbeat through the shoulder. I got to hear it right through their rib cage. That's going to let me get this arm deep. Tricep, not bicep. Walk my hand up as far as it'll go. look towards the feet, set on my hip, take a deep breath. Okay, pause it there. All right, guys, so now we're gonna stay in this blue guard position. We're still going for the submission, the blue crush. So I'm going for the blue crush. He feels the squeeze, so instead of trying to stack me forward, now he's gonna try to back out. As he backs out, that's gonna make his shoulders smaller. So I just transitioned from S grip to gable grip. I readjust, and I start to walk up. Now, some people, if you notice I'm grabbing my forearm, sometimes I can get all the way to arm triangle grip. If I can't, that's okay. I just get to where I can. Like right now, I'm able to get this gable grip. The finish is the same way. I went from S grip, he started to back out, that created more space. So, same thing. I'm here, all I'm gonna do is squeeze to get the finish. One more time. I've got blue crush, I'm going for the finish. He's feeling the pressure, he starts to back out. I readjust, I go to gable grip, I sink my arm through a little bit deeper, and I squeeze. I start to walk up. Thanks, guys. All right, guys, so we've gone over quite a few submissions already. So now we know that submission grappling and mixed martial arts is a position-oriented sport. So the most dominant position we can have in whether it's no-gi submission grappling or mixed martial arts is back and the back mount. So that's what we're going to focus on right now, taking the back from blue guard. So I'm in blue guard, so back to the big room. I'm in blue guard. I have blue guard. I've got wrist control. Remember, I don't want him to be able to get his arm above my shoulder if I can help it. So I've got wrist control. I'm here. I'm going to try and go for Kimura, but when I'm going for it, he's keeping his arm straight. So I'm not able to get to bend it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to wait for this arm to get straight, and I'm going to make the transition from here. I'm going to shoot this hand underneath this way. So I'm going from here. His arm is straight. He's fighting me. He's strong. Boom. I shoot this hand underneath like this. Okay. I keep a hold of the wrist. I pin his shoulder to the mat. I keep a hold of the wrist. Now I'm going to squeeze for the tap. Okay. If he's pretty flexible, this is what I like to do. Instead of going to here, I reach right to here. I get blue guard. I squeeze for the tap. So, again, I'm in blue guard. I have wrist control. I'm going for Kimura. He's keeping his arm straight. He's really strong. So, I open up his guard, his arm. I open it up. I shoot this hand through. It's got to be fast. So I come here, here. I keep a hold of the wrist, and I drop my shoulder to the floor. This is very uncomfortable for him. Notice I'm keeping a hold of the wrist. I shoot this hand underneath. Now all I'm going to do is grab and squeeze to get the crank. Okay? If he's flexible, that doesn't work. Then I like to just reach up with this hand and get this grip again. Here, all I'm going to do is squeeze. Catch the tap. If that doesn't work, then I obviously can just escape my hips. Take the back, work the choke. Thanks, guys. Alright guys, so I'm in blue guard again. I've got wrist control. We're going to focus on taking the back off a failed Kimura attempt. So, I'm here. I reach for Kimura, and as I'm here, he keeps his arm straight. Okay, instead of fighting this arm, all I'm going to do, he's got this arm straight, I'm going to let go of my wrist, and I'm going to grab his elbow. So here to here, here to here. I've got my own wrist, Kimura grip, his arm straight, so I'm going to grab his elbow, I'm going to push his wrist in and pull on his elbow, right in the joint to get it to bend. And then I'm going to hit a duck under. So I come to here. So I've got blue guard, wrist control. I go for Kimura. As I go for Kimura, he's keeping his arm straight. So now I'm going to transition from my own wrist to his elbow. I'm going to push his wrist in and pull on his elbow and hit the duck under. I like to maintain control of the wrist. Okay, I keep control of the wrist. I circle up, and notice I've got it trapped in between my shoulder and my neck. And then I get this grip right here, watch. Gable grip. Thumbless, thumbless. I come here. Alright, it's a combination of a Von Flu choke from the guard and a Kimura. So I'm squeezing for the choke and I'm dropping my head to the floor for the Kimura. So I'm the back of my head to the floor, squeezing for the choke, catch the tap. So again, I'm in BlueGuard. I'm here, I go for Kimura. He's straightening his arm out. I'm having a hard time. I'm trying to finish. Oh, he's super strong. So I go transition from here to here. It's got to be fast. Boom. I come underneath. I want to trap this arm if I can because I like to get this finish. Again, thumbless grip, thumbless grip. I grab. I'm squeezing my shoulder to my neck. Pull your hand out, Ruben. See right now, Ruben can't pull his hand out. It's trapped. So all I'm doing, this is a Von Flu choke from the bottom of guard. All right, I squeeze for the choke. I'm driving my head that way, pulling my arm this way, and then I'm dropping the back of my head to the floor to get to the tap with the shoulder lock, the Kimura. Catches the tap. Now, if for some reason he does escape his hand starts to escape, that's fine. I just transition to the side, think tricep, not bicep, grab the back of my neck, squeeze my feet together, push away, catch the tap. So, submission sequence looks like this. I'm in BlueGuard. I go to Kimura, he straightens his arm. I grab his arm, his elbow. I hit the duck under. I go for the first submission. His arm sneaks out. Boom. Immediately I look up to the ceiling and I pull him to me. I escape my hips. I've trapped his shoulder now. I make the transition from gable grip. I think tricep, not bicep. I grab the back of my head. I get a high guard. I squeeze my guard away, and I pull everything in nice and tight to get the tap. It's a fast choke. If for some reason I'm here, I can't get the tap, rather than tire myself out, I'm just simply going to put my foot on the mat, escape, come up, take the back, maintain that dominant position. Thanks, guys. Alright guys, so the next position we're going to focus on is again from that Kimura grip from BlueGuard, off the failed Kimura. What happens when he defends by grabbing his own thigh? So we're in BlueGuard. I'm here. I go for Kimura and he reaches in and grabs his own thigh here. And now it's very hard to get the finish. I'm squeezing. Remember, we got to think about MMA. I don't want to squeeze so much that I create space because he might be able to hit me. So I'm here. I'm trying to get the finish. All I'm going to do is push off his head to here. So I'm going for the Kimura. I can't get it. I'm going to push off his head and I'm going to come to here. Now, I've trapped his arm in between my knee, my thigh, and my armpit here. I'm just going to make this transition. I brought my foot over his head. I'm going to push his face away, escape my hips, finish. Okay, now to finish the omoplata, good. To finish omoplata, I'm simply going to escape my hips this way and pull him down to here. I reach through, I grab the wrist, pull it in tight. Now, all I'm going to do to finish the omoplata, there's lots of different ways. We're going to focus on one. I'm just going to rotate up. Right now I'm setting on this hip. I want to put this hip on the floor in front of his head. So I'm just going to roll to my knees. Again. Good. We're in BlueGuard. We're here. I go for Kimura. He goes to defend by grabbing his own thigh. I can't finish. Immediately I'm going to push off the face. So I'm going to go to here, push off the face, hip escape to here. Now, I'm trapping. I've got this basically Eddie Bravo rubber guard here. Okay. I'm clearing my foot over his face. I'm pushing away to get to omoplata. Again, to finish the omoplata. All I'm going to do, trap his hips, escape my hips to the outside, pull him down. get wrist control here, I'm on this hip. I want to be on this hip in front of his head. So I'm just going to roll to my knees. It's not going to take much to get the tap. Okay? Some other options from there. I'm here. I go to Kimura. He defends by grabbing inside his thigh. So immediately I push off the face. I come to here. I clear my head. Now I'm in omoplata, guys. I cleared it. I'm in omoplata, but I can't break him down. I'm trying to break him down. He's staying up. He's not able to posture all the way up, but he's managing to keep his hips up. So I like to choke people. So I'm going to take this hand. I'm going to shoot it underneath, and I'm going to grab here. So if you look, I've controlled his back here. Now I'm going to shoot this hand underneath, and I'm going to place this part of my hand right next to his carotid artery right here. Here. I'm going to grab this gable grip. Okay, I'm dropping my shoulder underneath his rib cage. Now all I'm going to do is squeeze to get the finish. I'm going to pull my hands to my shoulder and drive my shoulder to my hands here to get the finish. I call it a vice grip choke. So again, squeeze nice and tight, catch the tap. So we're in BlueGuard. Remember, with BlueGuard, key thing to focus on, squeezing my knees together. Squeeze my knees to my face. I can have this hand on the outside, elbow down. I can have it on the inside, elbow down, or I can have it on my shin, elbow down. Does not matter. I prefer to go here. I get to here. I go for wrist control. I go for Kimura. He defends by placing his hand on his thigh. Immediately, I'm trying to finish. I can't. I push off his thigh. I hip escape. I reach up. I get this Eddie Bravo rubber guard. Okay. Right now I'm in chill dog. All I'm going to do is clear my foot over his head and push it away. Escape my hips so I'm parallel with him. Now I've tried to finish with that first submission to get the basic finish. I couldn't. He's keeping his hips up, so I couldn't finish omoplata. So I'm going to take this hand. It's got to be a fast transition now. I'm going to transition underneath to here. Grab this vice grip. Squeeze everything in nice and tight to get the finish. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. All right, guys. So now we're going to focus off. We're going to stay with that Kimura. We're going to focus off the failed omoplata. So we went for the Kimura. He defended by grabbing the inside of his thigh. We went for omoplata, and he defended the omoplata. We weren't able to finish. So we're going to focus on taking his back now from the omoplata. So we're in position. We've got BlueGuard here. Wrist control. I'm going to go from here to Kimura. He defends by grabbing the inside of his thigh. I can't break the grip. So immediately I'm going to hip escape, push on his head here. I'm going to go to chill dog, the Eddie Bravo system. I'm going to clear my head, my foot over his head, push away to here. Now, a couple things. There's two ways. One is maybe I was loose with this grip. As I was coming around, he's able to scoot this hand out. When he does this, all I'm simply going to do is clear my foot to his back. Some things to think about. If you notice when I cleared my foot, I controlled his elbow by pushing here, staying here. I don't want to get this arm real deep because there's a chance I can get rolled. So I take this hand and I place it right inside his thigh, just right here, not deep, here. So from here, my knee is next to his ankle. I'm controlling here. Now I can work to take his back. So again, we're in omoplata, okay? When I went for omoplata, I was a little bit sloppy with it, so this hand is not tight, so he's able to clear. When I feel him start to clear, I'm just gonna drive my leg that's closest to his body underneath me. Control here. Control, remember this hand, I'm gonna spike the crotch. Not all the way real deep, just grab the inside of his thigh. I post here and control. Now I'm able to take his back. For MMA, I can pound, or I can come to here, sink my hooks, and attack. The other option, from omoplata is I'm here. All I have to do, it's a little bit fancy, but it works. All I'm going to do is step over his back. So I'm here, post on the ground, step over his back. Real simple. All right? So again, I'm here, I post on the ground. All I'm going to do is physically step over his back. I post on the ground to lift my hips up, and I just step over his back. Take his back. If his arm stays in there, as I step across, that's fine. I can do other stuff we're not going to focus on. All right? But I have the back at this time. Thanks, guys. So once again, guys, I'm in BlueGuard. I'm here. I'm squeezing my knees in, pulling my knees to my face. I can grab the outside of my thigh, the inside of my thigh, or my shin. But I have to focus on keeping my elbow down. So I grab the outside of my thigh, elbow down. Remember, I don't want his hand to be able to get over my shoulder. So I stay here. I can either control the tricep or control the wrist. All right? So I'm always controlling here because here he doesn't have very many options to punch me. So from here, a lot of times what happens when I'm in this guard is people feel me controlling their posture, so they want to do what? They want to posture up. So when they go to posture up, let's turn this way. Keep back. I'm here controlling, okay? They go to posture up. When they posture up, I'm going to put my feet on the ground, control, and hit this hip high sweep. Land in mount. So again, I'm here. I've got wrist control, or I'm controlling the tricep. Ruben doesn't like this position. He knows he's in trouble. So he goes to posture really hard. As he postures, I follow him up. There's no space right now. I'm following him up. My hand goes down here, not my elbow, my hand. My feet go on the floor. I lift my hips up and I start to turn. I control this arm. I want to control this arm so he can't base out. I take the leg off the table and then I hit the sweep. So it looks like this. I'm here. I follow him up. He starts to posture. I follow him up. My hand comes to here. My feet come off the ground. I'm trapping that arm. I elevate my knee all the way over to here. To catch the hip high sweep, end up in dominant body position, mount. The other thing we can do, I'm always talking about dual attacks. So, rather than, when he starts to posture, rather than hit the hip heist as he postures, I'm going to take this hand, I'm going to shoot it in between our bodies. So my hand's going to go in between my chest and his chest. So here, he postures up, my hand shoots underneath, it comes out the opposite side of his neck. Here, I'm grabbing my own arm. I come to here, this is a ninja choke. All I do is I get squeezed for the tap. So, I'm here, I'm going for BlueGuard, he starts to posture. As he postures, I let there be some space and I shoot my hand underneath. So I'm here, watch this hand, he postures, I let him create some space, I shoot this hand underneath, I grab my own bicep, I squeeze for the tap. So a little bit real time, looks something like this. We're here, he goes to posture, catch the tap, ninja choke. Thanks, guys. So now we're going to combine the last two techniques. We're going to combine the hip high sweep and the ninja choke. So as I hit the hip high sweep, as we're physically rolling over and I end up in mount, I'm going to have the ninja choke locked up at that time. So I'm in position. I'm in BlueGuard. I've got it here. He doesn't like this. So he's starting to posture up. When he postures, I go for the hip high sweep. Remember, everything stays the same. There's no space. I follow him up. My feet hit the floor. I'm not on my elbow. My hand's up. I trap. As I'm rolling, look what happens. As I'm rolling, this hand shoots underneath. I land and mount. I've got it locked up here. You can see I've got it locked up. I'm grabbing my own bicep. I'm grabbing his lat. I squeeze for the finish. So again, I combine the two techniques. He goes to posture. I follow him up, no space. My hand comes up, my feet go to the floor. I drive my hips to the ceiling. Boom, I trap. I pivot. As I'm rolling over, this hand's shooting through to catch the tap. So now let's look at it real time. I'm here, he postures, I sweep, my hand's already shooting through. Sometimes when I'm here, I have to drive his head up with my elbow. So I'm lifting his face to the ceiling by driving my elbow up here. That creates a space I need to grab my own bicep. And then all I do, my head goes back down, I squeeze for the finish. Sometimes when I do this technique, I'm doing it so fast that I rotate all the way through. So I'm in guard, I'm in blue guard. He goes to posture. I come to here, I go for the sweep. I come to here, and we're still rolling. That's okay. I've got the choke locked up. Trust me, at this point, Ruben, try to escape. He has to tap. So all we did is we went from blue guard, we hit the hip high sweep, in transition from hip high sweep to mount, I locked up ninja choke. He was able to sweep me, continue the roll, continue the momentum, and I ended up back in guard. But I already had ninja choke locked up, so we went from transition. Hip heist to ninja choke, to mount, to guard, to ninja choke. Thanks, guys. All right, guys, so we're going to continue off of the hip high sweep from blue guard. So I'm in blue guard. My opponent tries to posture really hard. So when he postures, I'm going to use that momentum to hit the hip heist. I've showed you that technique already. We're going to talk about what happens if I don't hit it correctly and he's able to base out. So I'm in blue guard here. Remember, key components. My knees are squeezed together and squeezed towards my face. I'm either grabbing the outside of my thigh, the inside of my thigh, or my shin. For you guys with short arms, you're going to have to grab, there's the tendon right here on the inside of your leg. You're going to have to grab either right here or right here. For you long limb guys, we can reach around and grab the outside of our leg. The key component, no matter which way we grab, here, whether it's here, here, or here, is we have to focus on keeping our elbow down. If we don't keep our elbow down and our elbows up, Ruben can't escape his head. So, have to be here, elbow down. Now if you notice this whole time through the whole DVD, I've been controlling his arm here. We're going to go into what happens if it comes out here, but for right now I want to control in here. So he goes to posture. I come to here, I go to hit the hip heist. He bases with his hand. When he bases with his hand, I'm going to go right back to an arm-in guillotine. So I'm going to come, this hand's going to circle around. This hand's going to go underneath to here. I'm getting an S grip here, just like this. Okay? Now, to finish the technique, I'm here to finish the technique. I'm going to put my foot on the hip. I don't want any space between my shoulder and his back. If you look right here, I don't want to see any space. A lot of people, they try to finish this technique, they squeeze like this. See all that space? You can see the neck there. A lot of times what happens is their head pops out. So I don't want that. To finish the technique, I'm setting up into him, putting my shoulder on the back of his neck. Now I place my foot here on his thigh. Now I'm going to do an oblique crunch. I'm going to take my ear to my knees, and I can get an S grip. I can get this grip. I prefer an S grip. All I'm going to do is take this S grip, and I'm going to try to touch the back of my hand to my own ear. So I'm attacking here. I'm making this choke angle. This is an angle. It's a triangle. I'm making it nice and tight, so it's cutting off the flow of blood to his neck. So we're in blue guard. Here, he goes to posture. I go to hip heist, he bases out. I immediately come right back. I circle over, come underneath, attack, arming guillotine to here. Look how I'm setting up into him. Foot goes here. Oblique crunch, squeeze. He's already tapping. Okay? One more time. I'm here. He goes to posture. I attack with the hip heist. He bases. I come right back to here. Arming guillotine. Now, I'm here. I'm trying to squeeze. I'm squeezing. He's not tapping. What are my options? I like to go from here to here. I'm placing my butterfly hook in. Now, I'm going to lift with my hands up to the ceiling and lift with my butterfly to here. Transition to come on top. Immediately, I shoot this arm through. My ear goes to not his shoulder, goes to his rib cage. I listen to his heartbeat. I'm controlling his posture of his head with my arm. I shoot this hand as deep as I can. I think tricep, not bicep, tricep. I walk my hand up his back. I look towards his feet and I set on my hip this way. And then I take a deep breath to catch the tap. So again. I'm in BlueGuard. I go to hit, he goes to posture. I go to hit the hip heist. He defends. I come back, arming guillotine. I'm trying to finish. I can't. So I lift up with my hands and I lift with this butterfly and I sweep with this foot to here. I control his posture. I shoot my hand through my ear. Super important for you guys with short arms. I have to take my ear and put it right on his rib cage. I can't put it on his shoulder. It's not going to let my arm long enough. I need to put it on his rib cage. Listen to the heartbeat. Here. I control his posture of his back of his head. Here. And I shoot this arm through as deep as I can. I think tricep, not bicep. We're going to have MMA gloves on, guys. Or even in competition, no-gi submission grappling. Sometimes, a lot of times in competition, we get here, we're squeezing, we can't finish. It's because we were just trying to grab our bicep. We need to always, when we're going for chokes, think tricep. It's going to make a big difference in our game. Especially, now think about it. I'm thinking tricep, I have an MMA glove on. Now I'm here, I've trapped my own hand. So now if I'm super tired, I'm still okay. Because my own arm is trapped in between my forearm and my bicep. It's not going to come out. So now I can wait until maybe I just need a little bit of second to catch my breath. Turn in, take a deep breath, catch the tap. So in that particular instance, we went from hip heist sweep, failed hip heist, he defended, arming guillotine, he defended, butterfly sweep, to Darce choke. So now we're going to focus on two other variations. I'm here. He postures. I set up into him. I go for that hip heist. He defends by placing his hand on the ground. I'm going to move this hand and grab his wrist. So I'm going to circle back over his head with this arm. I'm going to grab his wrist with this hand. To here. I'm going to shoot right back. Grab this Kimura grip. Finish with the hip escape Kimura. To here. So again, I'm in BlueGuard. He postures up. I go to hit the hip heist, but I don't trap the arm. I'm a little bit lazy with it. He posts out. That's okay. I'm going to start to go back the other way. This hand's going to go back over his head. This arm is going to move and grab his wrist. I'm going to continue with that momentum to my opposite hip. Remember to finish the hip escape Kimura. I turn on my opposite hip. I keep his arm pinned to my chest. I don't let it bend. I don't want his arm in way in here. I don't want it way out here. I want it right about here. Now to finish, all I want to do is get him to high five the mat up here. Thanks, guys. All right, guys. Last option from a failed hip heist sweep. Okay. So I'm in BlueGuard, nice and tight. He goes to posture up. As he postures, I follow him up. Remember, I stay tight. My feet go flat to the mat. I come up on my hand, I elevate my hips, I go to hit the hip heights, but I don't trap the arm. But what I know, when I see this, immediately I'm going to come back. This hand's going to go to the back of his head. I'm going to fall to my back and clear my foot. I control the posture by grabbing my own shin, squeeze my knees together so he can't pull out, reach underneath. Remember that angles create strangles, okay? So I want to cut the angle. I can finish from here, but it's really hard. As opposed to if I'm here, I don't walk up my triangle, I get an underhook, I push off the hip, and I pivot and create this angle. Now it's very simple. I just maintain a knee squeeze, and I can catch the tap. So, again, I'm here, I go to, he goes to posture up, I go to hit the hip heights, I bump really hard, so it causes him to post his hand out. Because the closer he posts his hand to me, the harder it's going to be for me to set anything up. So when I'm here and he goes to posture up, I need to bump him hard that way. See how I'm up on his hips and I'm driving my hips into him? That forces his hand to go really far out. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to go from here to here. This foot is going to come up, lock up my triangle, angles create strangles, squeeze to get the finish. Thanks, guys.